one of the things about this job that I have here at WLW is occasionally we get to talk to some of the greats in the world of sports. I met Willie Stargell about 4, maybe 5 years ago when I had this sports talk show on another station, and he was walking around downtown with Joe Morgan. Had Joe Morgan on, and Willie came up and sat down for a little bit. On February 1st, Willie Stargell will be in Cincinnati with a number of other sports celebrities and radio and television celebrities to raise money for the Sickle Cell Anemia Fund at the Bowlamat in Roselawn, Ohio. And you're going to get a chance to see Willie out there. Last year played in 67 games for the Pittsburgh Pirates and hit .262, still had 11 home runs, and had some physical problems. It is my pleasure to welcome the giver of the stars for extraordinary performance for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Mr. Willie Stargell, first baseman. How are you?
Fine, Bob. How you doing?
Very well. How is your health, sir? I'm very concerned about you.
Pardon?
How is your health, sir?
Well, I think it's in very good condition. As a matter of fact, if you notice me breathing a little hard, this is the exercise time of the hour, and I have like a gym here in the house that I work on, and when I finish talking to you, then I'll get in the sauna. I wouldn't be going through all this if I wasn't excited about 1981, Bob, and my health is something that I had to deal with last year, of course, but as we know, you being connected with athletics, you know that the important thing is to let things heal, and once you respect Mother Nature, then in turn she will allow you to do the things that you like to do, and of course that's the thing I'm looking forward to this year.
I understand. What was the extent of your injury, Willie, and did you have to undergo surgery?
Well, I had previously had 2 knee operations on my left knee, which was giving me trouble, and I had been banged around over the course of years, and I think it was one particular game we played in the Mets, and I dove for a ball that was hit over the bag and landed, and I landed very awkwardly over my knee, and it started giving me some trouble, and it continued to the point where I knew it was something that had to be done in terms of being looked at or treated in some fashion. I went to a doctor up in Lansing, Michigan, who does arthroscopy, and he looked in and saw a bunch of garbage, literally, bone spurs and chips and other fragment materials that did not belong, that hindered my flexibility to the degree that I was unable to perform the way I certainly wanted to. So he removed these particles, and I've given it the time to heal. I've tested it, but I truly haven't given it the test that I plan to starting around the middle of next month in Florida.
Have you begun to run at all, or are you able to run, or is that what you're talking about, the full extent of the exercise?
No, I'm talking about, Bob, I'm running, of course, here, but basically my running consists of tennis shoes in either the outdoors or hardwood floor because of the horrendous weather. The difference I'm talking about in contrast to this is putting on a baseball shoe with cleats and digging into the sand. That's an all-new thing, too, that you have to reacquaint yourself with. The pulling and the stretching of muscles as a result of having on cleats, the softness, the red clay that we use in the field. I want to get used to these things, and that's, to me, is the ultimate test.
And I suppose also, Willie, running the bases, the jarring that you get from putting your foot on the base as you round it, that's got to be a real a test on your knee, too, does it not?
Well, it certainly does. Everything around first base is, a lot of people seem to think that once a fellow gets up in age, that first base is the most likely place for it. I disagree because there's so much that has to be done at first base. It makes you a better ball player, I believe. It keeps you alert on every pitch. You have to know the throws from the third baseman, your shortstop, your second base, sometimes the pitcher throws, the catcher throws. So you have different positions and different people throwing, so the ball is doing different things. Then you have to move around. I will be testing myself to the extent where I'll be catching anywhere from 200 to 300 ground balls a day. I will be moving both laterally and unilaterally to do this. I have balls hit in the air so I can jump. I will have balls hit extremely hard. In other words, I just give myself
don't blame you. Willie, how many games can you play in a season comfortably if you don't have physical problems? Can you participate in
100 plus.
100 plus? In 1979, you played 126, I believe. Is that about what you can play? And if you can play 126 next year, barring injury, how many years can you play 126 games at first base?
Well, Bob, I don't know that. This year coming will be 20 years for me. And your body has so many throws, so many swings, so many good, quick reactions. And I know that, time I'm flirting with. I'm hopeful that, my energies and excitement can carry me on through the 81 season. If it does, and I feel good about 82, then I'll take the same approach. To say to you and to whoever's listening that I'll be foolish enough to take a little bit from 81 to make sure I can come back in 82, this I won't do. So I'll say that 1 year at a time, and if I continue to have the energies or not, and I'll be the first to know when it's time for Willie to step aside so other energetic youngsters can come in and enjoy and play as I have.
Willie, when you do step aside as a player, do you have any hopes to maybe someday be a manager in professional baseball? I mean, you spent the majority of the entirety of your adult life in baseball. You certainly have assimilated a great deal of knowledge from a lot of good managers. Are you looking to become a manager, or are you going to get out of the game of baseball?
Well, Bob, let me just sort of correct one thing that you just said. You said my entire adult life. My entire life has been baseball because when I was with my grandfather's mom, he said before I was walking, I was throwing something. So it's something that I've been, I guess, born to do. And when I get out of the game, I'll probably be playing somewhere on weekends. That's the kind of attitude that I almost feel that I'd have. As far as managing, at this point, no. I won't say no to the time when and if it presents itself. I think if I had to make a choice tomorrow as to what I would do, the years that I've spent in baseball, I'd certainly like to give it back in some capacity. And I couldn't think of a better way than hopefully spending time with the minor league kids. I wouldn't be so much interested in telling them how they should play the game. I mean, fundamentally, you should know certain things or you wouldn't be there. But they can get that kind of training repetitiously. You have to do things. They can get that from the instructors. I would like to maybe spend time helping the kids with their mental approach towards the game. Your mind is your best friend or your worst enemy, and to get it to a point where you can try and enjoy as many things as one possibly can. Put positive things into the mind. These are the kind of things I like to do, and maybe spend maybe 40, 50 games with the big club in the course of a year. Maybe seek out some important talent the Pirates may be interested in, or whatever organization I'll be affiliated with. I think I would like that. That way I don't have to be at third base or first base or sitting next to the manager. Spending time with some guys who pretty much basically are going to do what they've been doing for a number of years. So I don't see myself functioning at a level where I can, utilize some of the things that I've accumulated over the years that I've played.
Yeah, Willie, I would imagine that you weren't afforded that luxury. Your idea, I believe, is a very good one. Too often, I believe, minor league players are given instruction by people that they have never heard of. And I would imagine that if you started at the pioneer level and 8 years later make it to the major leagues, you probably have 10, maybe 15, maybe 20 people telling you how to do things. But if you had one guy whose name was Willie Stargell, who sat you down and said, son, this is the approach that I took, and it worked for me. Why don't you try this? And you tried that all through this kid's career through the minor leagues to the major league level. I think you would leave a lasting impression on that young man and would probably help him in the long run.
Well, the thing that I would really emphasize too, Bob, is the things that I've done and the mental approach that I've been able to take. It certainly wouldn't be something I'd tell a kid that I want him to try. I would just give him food for thought and let him seek out what is best for him to get to that comfortable spot. I don't want him to emulate any of the things that I've done because, everybody has their own way of doing things, and I think if we're given some things to deal with, some options, we can something that they should go with.
Yeah, yeah.
I would just be more or less interested in doing the kind of things such as talking about the things that we just talked about.
Yeah.
And then telling them, too, that this is basically a game to be enjoyed. I think it's gotten to the point where people are interested in their batting titles and averages, what they're feeling, because there's incentive contracts and things. I'm afraid of the integrity of the game getting too far behind over the luxurious things that is being offered. In order to do that, you can't put undue pressures on oneself to say you got to make this amount of money and you've got to make yourself get 4 hits, and the next thing you know, you spend 10, maybe 15 years in the big leagues, and you come in perfectly healthy and you leave drinking milk and eating soup as a result of also them putting pressure on you. I think when you play a game and they give you that authority to do that, you should enjoy it.
Yeah.
And feel grateful that somebody has marketed baseball, which is a game that kids play in the playground.
Yeah, you appear to be one of those people. I'm curious, Willie. I've never heard anybody ask you, where did you come up with the little routine that you go through before you swing the bat, and what is its purpose? And how long ago in your career did you come up with that? I suppose it's a form of relaxation, swinging the bat, windmilling the bat. Where did you come up with that?
Robert, I really couldn't tell you. I know it's something that, again, I had to flirt around with to find out something that was comfortable with me. That's why I wouldn't advise any kid to do that, although I've been just driving by playgrounds and I've seen kids doing it. If they can do it and get the kind of results and it doesn't create frustration, fine, do it. But my entire purpose for doing that, you find certain hitters that are very quiet at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
You catch George Foster, once he does certain things, he just stands there. Well, I try to be quiet at the plate, but I have a tendency when I'm tired at the plate, my hands tighten, and as a result of my hands, my wrists, forearms, elbows, shoulders, and then ultimately my entire body becomes rigid. I feel the only way to do anything effectively, it has to be done naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And with everything tense, then I'm going to be in a position where I'm more susceptible, even more susceptible to striking out, because I'm a strikeout. Then, by twirling the bat as I do, I'm able to keep everything very relaxed and loose. And after doing it for so long, I guess if I didn't do it, I would have been in a world of trouble.
You probably couldn't even swing the bat, because that's your the forward press that they talk about in golf. What Arnold Palmer does and what Jack Nicklaus does and what Willie Stargell has played is probably a form of relaxation for you.
Exactly, and I think that's the most important thing. Search for that one thing that can put you in tune with that quietness that one wants and looks forward to. No matter what it is, if it's baseball or a way of life, you see too many frowns on people's face today, and they're putting a lot of undue pressure on them. So.
Yeah. Willie, you're a very unusual athlete in professional baseball, or just in professional sports, in that your career began in 1962 with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and it's now 1981, and it appears that you are going to finish your career with the Pittsburgh Pirates. You are in a very select minority of players who have been afforded the opportunity to come up through the ranks of the Pittsburgh Pirates, weather the bad storms that they had, play in World Series, and end your career with the same ball club.
Well, I do consider that a tremendous honor, and it may not mean much to a lot of people, but I've had I don't know if it's unfortunate or fortunate pleasure of seeing so many guys come to our ball club and really like the city and the ball club, and so they put roots into the earth, become involved in community activities, maybe open up a business. I mean, given every reason to want to stay here, but then, as we know too, that once our career starts, that there's a possibility we're going to be herded around.
Sure.
Well, even when it happens, I see something in so many of individuals over the years that has never been pleasant. And even to this day, I see their character than what it was when we was with this. And it happens in a lot of cities with ball clubs and ball players. These guys don't want to go, and it makes a bitter individual out of it, because there are people, just like the people that are listening, that have feelings and sensitivities about things. So it almost gets them to the point where, if that's the way they feel about me, then I want more money. And that becomes an issue. And I think this is the one thing that I can't say what I would be like today if I had to move around. To say a ball club doesn't want you. And that's the attitude the players take. They never look at it so that they're going to be helping out a ball club. Of course, when they go to spring training, and they become acquainted with some of the guys, and they run into some nice guys. But you hear guys too many times, and it happens every time they run across one of my ex-teammates. My God, I wish I was back in Pittsburgh. Things are just not the same. There's different managers and different guys and how they approach the game, and they say they don't have any fun. Then at that point, then I really feel bad for the guys.
Yeah, that appears to me, too, Willie, part of your responsibility with the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's not only to anchor the infield and play first base and be the cornerstone of the Pittsburgh Pirates, but you seem also to be responsible for the looseness of the players, the fact that no matter what the situation, if it's Game 7 of the World Series against the Baltimore Orioles, you're still out there to have fun.
Exactly. Well, I don't consider it a responsibility, Bob. It's just something that I'd like to feel that, I'm enjoying the game. Why shouldn't the rest of these guys?
Yeah.
You speak about the 7th game World Series. Well, we had this situation where I went out to the mound, I think it was in the 9th inning, and Jacoby was pitching. And they caught us laughing on TV because many people have asked me about it.
I remember that, yes.
And they wanted to know what we were laughing about. And I was saying to Jacoby, I said, now if you're scared, you let me pitch and you go play first base. And I'll pitch. Otherwise, you show everybody, these 80 million people, why you're the best pitcher in baseball. And he said, look, you get your big butt back over there on first base and let me pitch. and what happened in that particular second, we think about the words that was exchanged, and he said, why would one want to say something like that at that particular time? Well, sometimes it's good to get away from that thought and then get back to a relax, and that creates the energy within. Mm-hmm. And exactly what we did. If they see me doing something, it's just not me hovering over the guys. It's a combination of things. When I get in certain situations, the guys can see and they'll say, hey, psst, get back on the thing.
It certainly worked.
Yeah, and so I'm not it's a combination thing. That's why I feel good about the guys that I play with, because everybody can handle constructive criticism, and we don't feel that any one guy is any better. One thing we never talk about is Dave Parker's money. He makes $1 million a year, and in my opinion, one of the finest ball players to come along in many years. But, when we get on the field, we're players. Dave's money can't get him a base hit or catch a fly ball. So we don't use those petty things to downgrade our purpose. Our purpose is a childhood dream, and we got 4 hours to literally lay around or dive around in the dirt and get all musty in uniforms, and your turn to hit and my turn to play defense. The same things you see in playground. And then people come to see us play, and it should be the kind of fun and energy that we had when we were children, displaying even at a more refined way. So these are the things that I think that are far more important than the 1st and 15th.
Yeah, but you know what, Willie? In listening to what you're saying, I don't think there's anybody who has played the game, watched the game, or ever hopes to play the game that does not agree with you. But what happens to the baseball players today who come to the major leagues and I think lose sight of that? I think you have a wonderful outlook on professional baseball, and it's a shame that the majority of the players don't feel the way you do.
Well, I think, Bob,
where is it lost? Who loses it, and how is it lost?
Well, I think when you, as a father, have a young, talented son, and he turns on his TV set like this summer and see where Dave Winfield is making, like $1.5 million a year.
at least for this year, probably more next year.
Okay, so a father's going to say, son, if I take you out and work you out every day, there's a chance you can make that kind of money. So right away, that kid is trapped into satisfying his father. And all he knows is working hard. He can't let his father down to get to that point. So now you say, where is it lost? Well, where did it start? Is probably the better question. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the pressure put on before they even get to high school. Yeah, and the other thing is too, you look at
stars in little leagues now.
Yeah, oh yeah, and you look at Dave Winfield, and as unfortunate as it may be, you look at Dave Winfield, he gets a great deal of press because of the money he makes, and people overlook the kind of baseball player that he is.
Exactly. Well, I think the important thing, they're going to be expecting Dave Winfield to hit close to 400. They want him to hit 50 home runs. I mean, they want him to do cartwheels on the baseball field.
You're right.
For the money that he's making. And I know what Dave is as a ball player, and I hope he just stays within his limitations so that he doesn't start trying to do something that maybe God didn't give him those kind of energies to do, and try and match with the press. I hope he doesn't get there. I think he's able enough to handle that and see what's in store. I've always had the respect for Dave's intelligence, and this is certainly going to be a dramatic test for him.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
So the kids today are saying, wow, you mean if I play baseball or play in a major sports, this kind of money can be, and then the fathers will tell them, look, you're about 10 years away. Just think of the kind of money you'll be able to get in 10 years with the way things are going up and the demands that the owners are doing. Okay, now, I don't disagree with the father trying to see that their kids are well educated and able to do some gifted things that they may have talents for. But I certainly, like I tell my son, I don't want him to be a baseball player unless he wants to be. I want him to enjoy whatever he's doing. He's real big on ice. I mean, winter sports. He plays hockey, and he's very good. And
so do my sons. Both my kids play ice hockey. That's interesting.
And he's in the hot dog skiing where they do these flips today.
Oh yeah, fancy stuff.
I don't go see that because I told him he can do it, but I'm not going to watch my son do it.
You don't want to pay for his broken leg.
I don't want to put all kinds of heavy things on him. I don't want him competing with me. You know, I try and tell them that I was lucky to find something that I truly enjoy doing. And some guy come up to me and say, hey, son, I want to give you some money for playing baseball. And I thought the guy was crazy because that's something I've always wanted to do anyway. And I told him that this has been a good life for me to always have something to relate to. I've been there. Now, he has to say to himself, okay, I'm a different tree, and I'm seeking a different life. And you have to be able to tune out the outside pressures, or you're going to be another ball player just like your daddy.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to be like your daddy. No, I want him to be his own little tree. And I'm going to water him and nourish him and just let him branch off in whatever direction he wants to. But hopefully it's in a very sober fashion so that he treats people fairly and he don't use anyone, take advantage, or step on anyone to get where he wants to go in life.
That's terrific. That's terrific. Willie, I know you're going to be in town on February 1st to help the sickle cell anemia organization here in southwestern Ohio. Looking forward to seeing you out there, and I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people out there looking for your autograph. This will be the...
I think it's right because she is the one that got the whole ball of wax going, and she is the one that gave me the impression that she was concerned about doing something about the community. So I think the city of Cincinnati should be proud to know that they're one of the many other people in the city of Cincinnati that is really deeply concerned with the work that she's doing. And I'm only too pleased to come in, Bob. I don't know how many athletes we're going to have. If it's myself and another one, that's where the start begins. And then hopefully in years to come, it can become a very big annual affair. And I'd like to say in coming that, being at the first one, maybe 10 years from now when it's tremendous, dramatic affair that's being given every year, I can say, yeah, I remember I was at the very first one.
That's terrific. I love your attitude towards baseball, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Willie, best of luck in 1981. Hopefully we'll see you sometime.
Okay, Bob, my best to you and everyone there.
All right. Nice talking to you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Willie Stargell, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we apologize for that line. Most things coming out of the Pittsburgh area are fuzzy, but it's a pleasure to talk to Willie Stargell anytime. And let me tell you something about that guy. He is genuine. He is absolutely that kind of person. All pro. This is Sports Talk on WLW, and we will continue after this brief pause.